And JP Morosi will be on the field. The big story is Bryce Harper, who said, I can take 97 miles per hour to the face, JP, but not to the thumb. It is broken. Surgery required. What is next? Good morning, by the way.
Good morning, Lauren. That surgery is scheduled for today for Bryce Harper. So he will have surgery on that left thumb today. What we don't know exactly is when his return date will be for the Philadelphia Phillies. They hope and believe he will be back before the end of the season. That was what manager Rob Thompson said yesterday. The Phillies do expect him to come back. Perhaps it could be, according to our own Todd Zaleski at MLB.com, could be sometime in the month of August. But obviously the Phillies right now have a very precarious position in the NL East, in the NL wildcard picture, trying to make up ground with this current cast of outfielders there. I was looking, Lauren, at their lineup last night, and only one hitter in the entire Phillies lineup had an OPS above 800, and that was Kyle Schwarber. It just does not look the same without Bryce Harper. They did just bring in Oscar Mercado. You see him there on the screen. Certainly more production needed from the likes of Herrera and Vierling and Moniak as well.
In the break, we were talking amongst ourselves, what should the Philadelphia Phillies do? They've already had to replace him on defense, and now at the plate with expanded playoffs, do they go all in? Do they look outside the organization? What is their plan? What are you hearing now?
Lauren, great question. I think whenever you have an organization led by Dave Dombrowski, the answer is that they will try to make this move outside and try to upgrade the roster at that point. That's always been the way Dave Dombrowski has handled things. And when in doubt, go to the familiar name. And in this case, it could be Andrew Benintendi, who, of course, won a World Series with Dave Dombrowski with the Boston Red Sox back in 2018, having an extraordinary season right now with the Kansas City Royals, batting better than 300, 2 for 3 again last night. Quality at bats from Benintendi consistently. Now, certainly he's often played in a corner in Boston and in Kansas City. Could he play left field in Philly? Could he also potentially play some center field, where the Phillies also have a long-term need? So again, I think right now the Phillies remain in buy mode. But I do want to mention this, and Steve Phillips said this morning on MLB Network Radio. When you think about the Phillies overall, can they really have this same alignment next year with Harper as a DH to begin the year, if in fact he has to have that Tommy John surgery on his elbow, and you have now the same defensive alignment with Harper as your DH and Castellanos and Schwarber as your two corner bats? Would they potentially consider, and Steve raised this question, would they consider moving Schwarber just to give themselves more flexibility because of how high Schwarber's value is right now? I wouldn't see that right now, Lauren, but certainly as the weeks go on, it'll be interesting to see if that becomes a possibility for the Phillies.
With his 22 home runs, very interesting. Add the Phillies to the list for Andrew. He has got suitors for days. We talked about this earlier. I know you watch the show all the time. Matt Olson's dad kind of saying, when he realized who he was taking over for, he just kind of put his head down. He quieted the noise and just went to work. What impresses you most about him?
Lauren, it's exactly that. And certainly, of course, the same high school as Jeff Francoeur. What a great lineage there in the Atlanta area. I think Matt Olson, you think about all the conversations surrounding Freddie Freeman over the weekend and all the emotion for Freddie continuing into this week. Matt Olson last night goes out, hits 2 home runs. And that's exactly, I think, the kind of play we have come to expect from Matt Olson. It's a quiet swing with loud productivity. That's always been the way for Matt Olson. And you look up right now at his numbers, and yes, certainly it's a very crowded first base picture in the All-Star game in the National League, but Matt Olson is right in there. He belongs again as an All-Star. He has produced, he has answered the bell. All the pressure you think of going back to your hometown to play, Lauren, it cannot be easy. But Matt Olson has handled it with that same grace that he always has as a player. And certainly right now, the Braves' long-term investment in him looks brilliant right now.
And JP, you're the best. Your Wi-Fi is not. Last series in June, trying to end on a high note. Braves and Phillies. Enjoy the game. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lauren. All the best.